Trachtenberg, you son of a bitch. You almost pulled off the impossible. Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my review of Predator Badlands. Now, I got a chance to check this out back on Wednesday for an early fan screener. And if I was smart, I would have put out a video that night, but I'm just lazy, guys, okay? I'm just lazy. So this is the 7th mainline entry in the Predator universe, you know, if you're not counting the AVP movies. So this is number 7 in the franchise, and overall, I've always just been a huge fan of the Predator movies. Like even the bad ones, namely The Predator, I still have enough fun with. You know, I still get some surface level enjoyment out of even that movie. So it's really hard to disappoint me with this franchise. With Predator Badlands, I'll be honest, I heard some stuff going in from some early reviews, from some early reviewers here on YouTube. I heard some stuff going in that definitely had me a little concerned with the direction that this movie was going. And I will say for the most part, Trachtenberg pulls this off. Like this is a movie that definitely for me, on paper, shouldn't work at all. This should rank near the bottom of this franchise based on what I heard, like the direction they were taking it. I definitely have issues, we'll get to those. I don't think this is a perfect movie. That being said, I think for the most part, he pulls it off here in a way that was still highly enjoyable to me. This movie is just a ton of fun. This is like a movie that was tailor-made for a theater experience. Definitely one of the better theater experiences I had this entire year. I even had to wear these ridiculous 3D glasses because we were there for like a 2D IMAX experience. Projector wasn't working. About 45 minutes later, they said, hey, we're either watching this in 3D or you're leaving and getting a refund. And there was no way I was missing this movie. So I watched it in 3D. And like I said, this movie is so made for a movie theater. I would definitely recommend everybody who is a fan of the franchise, who just likes big blockbusters, I would say go check this out in theaters for sure. The movie is just action-packed. Other than a few scenes that, you know, try to flesh out the characters a little bit, try to have a few more touching moments. Other than that, this movie is a non-stop thrill ride. Like it just goes from one battle to the next to the next. You could almost call it one battle after another. And I think all of the action here, for as many scenes as we do have, it is all handled extremely well. One of my big concerns going into this movie is that it had a PG-13 rating. And when it comes to like the Alien and Predator franchises, that's almost like a sin to us fans, right? None of these movies should be below an R rating. But I will say, similar to AVP, this movie gets away with it in a very creative type way. And really all it is there's just no human bloodshed. Like that's all it takes for the MPAA to get a PG-13 apparently. Because I mean, the movie is still brutal. You have like things being cut in half, you have decapitations, you have spines being ripped out of people. It doesn't hold back on the brutality. They just went about it in a very creative way to get that PG-13 rating. So even though I was skeptical about that going in, that absolutely delivers. This movie, as it turns out, is not really a horror movie akin to all the other Predator movies in the franchise. This is much more an action-adventure romp, like a hero's journey, almost a coming-of-age type tale for this runt of the litter. Deck is his name. He is like the Yautja that is the runt, the one that they think isn't worthy, the one that they're trying to kill off because they don't think he's a good enough hunter, they don't think he's big enough, he's not strong enough. So we are following the perspective of Deck here. Like this is the Predators movie. As many times as we've seen humans versus these alien creatures, this movie we follow Deck in his coming of age journey. And again, that is something I was very skeptical about, and I still have my issues with it. I really do. As much as it somehow worked for me, and I enjoyed the hell out of this journey, I still don't love the decision to kind of take away that scare factor of the Predator, to take away the mystique of the character, right? Because in all these other movies, we don't spend a ton of time with these creatures. It's mostly through the humans, just watching these things come through and absolutely brutalize everything around them. By getting to know so much about like their culture, their clans, Deck in particular, I do think it ruins some of the mystique of Predator. And that being said, just taking this movie for what it's worth, I did love the journey that he went on. The action is absolutely incredible. The brutality is still very much there. And Dan Trachtenberg, the dude knows what he's doing, because the landscape shots here, the cinematography, it's almost like every scene is like a work of art. You could save every like landscape shot in this movie and make it a screensaver, make it like a painting. It is that beautiful. So the movie is like a visual feast to look at. All of the fights are highly enjoyable. Somehow, against all odds, I really did enjoy Deck's journey in the movie, but the issues that I had going in, unfortunately, I think still hold true for me. Obviously, some people are going to be able to overlook those very easily and just enjoy this for what it is. For the most part, I did. There are still too many moments in this movie. I would say too many emotional moments, a couple too many cutesy jokes that I felt like we were starting to get into the MCU Disneyfication of kind of a lot of movies nowadays. There was a few moments that I was worried if they kept going down this route, it wasn't going to be for me at all. Luckily, aside from a few moments, it is pretty reserved. Like most of the comedy here, it's not from Deck like making these quips like you would see Robert Downey Jr. in the MCU, right? It's not that type of humor at all. Like most of his humor just comes from being so focused on his mission, on his hunt, and just the way that he reacts to like other characters, trying to like show empathy, trying to show sympathy, where he clearly is just using them as tools for his journey to like achieve his hunt. So most of the comedy works because it didn't come across as MCU as I thought it was gonna. That being said, Elle Fanning, I do like her character as like the sidekick. For the most part, I did enjoy her character. I like a couple of the twists, a couple of the revelations we get with her, but she is the one I think the most guilty of the MCU stuff. She's the one that just like is making all the cutesy jokes. She's the one that like won't stop talking, and she was a little much for me at times. She's something that I'm very much mixed on. And then aside from Elle Fanning, we have the other synthetic in the movie, Tessa, who ends up, in a way, being the main antagonist. Like, we have another one, but Tessa is kind of the main focus as far as the big bads in this movie. I think Tessa, not good at all. You know, I was excited with the whole synthetic crossover here, where we might be going. Her character really didn't do much for me, and I think she's kind of the weak point of an otherwise really fun movie. Also, about a quarter of the way through this movie, you get like this little creature on this alien planet that Deck and Elle Fanning's character picks up along the way. Didn't really think it was necessary at all. To me, this almost felt like a little Grogu sidekick here for Deck. So it almost had some Mandalorian feel to it. It was a little too cutesy, a little too Grogu. I didn't love that addition. And the same thing with Elle Fanning, kind of. Like, I understand having the human-ish character to have him bounce off of, you know, like to feed the audience dialogue, so it's not just like a silent journey. I still almost feel like I would have enjoyed this more if this was just a standalone Deck, like coming-of-age action-adventure on his own. And the whole thing about the Yautja clan, about Deck being like the runt of the litter, I don't know if I necessarily wanted a story about breaking away from the Yautja clan. I kind of wanted a movie more like emphasizing it and celebrating it, as opposed to what we do here is like breaking out of like norms, you know, breaking out of tradition, breaking out of norms of your clan. I kind of wanted to see them highlighted more instead of going against them. And I almost feel like this would have been a better standalone sci-fi movie as opposed to a Predator film. Like, you know, because I love all the action in it, the brutality, I love the adventure we go on, the coming-of-age story about this character like finding his strength. But I just don't know if I'm ever gonna fully be on board with this being a part of the Predator franchise. And I will say, as much as I really enjoyed the movie, as much fun as I had, I was smiling from ear to ear almost the entire time. Leaving the theater, one thing I said is, I hope this is a kind of one and done standalone story in this universe. Like, I don't want this to be the blueprint going forward. I don't want them to start thinking like, if this movie makes money, oh, people now want to see the Predator being the hero. Like, I just don't think that's the right way to go for the franchise. It's kind of what Terminator did with like the later Terminator entries, Genesis, Dark Fate, all that stuff. They made the T-800 the hero, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger was all of a sudden the hero of the story. And you see how those went box office wise. But yeah, the movie is getting insanely high reviews almost everywhere, and I am very happy for it because, like I said, it's a ton of fun. But I just don't want Trachtenberg, I don't want Fox or Disney to come out of this movie like learning the wrong lesson. If the movie succeeds, I don't think we need to keep going this direction. And I think most Predator fans would probably agree with that, but I could be wrong. There is one way I could see a sequel going that I think could definitely work. Like, because by the end of this movie, Deck is clearly the hero. He's the one you're rooting for. I could see a Badlands 2 maybe introducing a human element, and then maybe we follow the human's journey, and at the end, if you have these two facing off, if you get the ending, if you nail the ending on that, that could be a dope-ass sequel for this story. But to me, if they are making a sequel, which it kind of seems set up to do that, I think that's about the only way you could go with it that I would be happy. One other thing I want to touch on that kind of relates to this movie, but just movies in general. First of all, I apologize if the lighting is off compared to the rest of the video. I'm actually recording this like hours after my initial review and splicing it in the edit. One thing I want to just address, I wanted to see all the different opinions on this movie, right? So I went and I checked out the Critical Drinker's video. A couple years ago, I kind of liked his videos, but he has gone so far in the anti-woke, anti-gay, everything in Hollywood is woke now. He's gone so far into that direction that I just don't watch his shit anymore. And I just wanted to read the comments to see what didn't work about this movie. And let me just say, this might get me in some trouble, but some of you all are fucking weird, dude. You are on such a anti-woke, anti-gay witch hunt for every movie you watch. It's like you go into the theater and you're just waiting for a moment that you can be like, oh, there it is, there it is. There's the woke moment. Oh, there's the girl boss moment. It's a fucking weird energy and it just sounds exhausting. Like, I don't know how you live your life. Like, I don't even know why you call yourself a movie fan if you go to everything just looking for this stuff. And for the record, it is totally fine to say that some movies have an agenda, because I agree to that. Some movies absolutely have an agenda, and it's pretty obvious. But I heard from multiple friends, and I saw multiple comments in the Critical Drinkers video, that Deck, the Yautja here, is giving off queer energy. Like, I'm telling you, you guys are fucking delusional. That is such a weird take. The character doesn't do anything remotely gay in this movie. Like, nothing. There is no indication that this is like a homosexual Predator character. I have to laugh just saying that because it's so ridiculous. So like I said, this might get me into trouble, but I feel like this is the time that I just have to say it, because some of y'all are weird. But that's it, guys. Those are my quick thoughts on Predator Badlands after having a few nights to sleep on it. Like I said, absolutely did enjoy the movie. It worked for me in a way that, on paper, this should not have worked at all. Like, I probably should have hated this, but the execution was so good that I came out smiling. My theater was definitely clapping at the end of the movie, and there was a lot to take out of it. A lot of blockbuster fun, a great action-adventure story that almost feels like a video game come to life. Like, I could almost see this as like a God of War movie. So, you know, I like the character of Deck. I like the journey he went on. I liked him overcoming the opposition at the end, who I won't spoil for you. But I was a little less receptive to Elle Fanning's character, the little alien creature we get on his shoulder throughout the movie that's very Grogu, and Tessa, who's like our main antagonist. And while I do appreciate Trachtenberg taking like bold swings for this franchise, trying new things, I hope he keeps doing that. The issues that I had going in, maybe to a lesser degree now, but I still do have those issues. I still don't know if this was necessarily the best route to go for this character. I think it demystifies the Yautja in general, you know, kind of takes away that scare factor. And then one other thing I forgot to mention, even after seeing the movie, I definitely still don't like the design of Deck. He felt a little bit too human. But all in all, a great time in the theaters, guys. One of the better theater experiences of the whole year for me. I recommend you take a couple buddies and you all just have a great fucking time watching this movie. So I'm gonna give Predator Badlands a very surprising 7.5 out of 10. All right, guys, but that is gonna do it for this one. Please drop it in the comments. If you went to see it this weekend, let me know what you thought of Predator Badlands. Did you like the bold new direction they went and it mostly worked for you? Or are you like me where you still had a good time, but you still don't necessarily love the way that we're going with the Yautja? Or did you just completely hate this movie? Let me know down in the comments. Definitely excited to talk about this movie because I think it is going to divide some audiences. And other than that, guys, do all the YouTube stuff, you know, leave a thumbs up to let me know you liked the video, drop a comment down below so we can talk about this movie, and of course, subscribe right over here, so you don't miss any future content on the channel. And as always, we will see you in the next one.